Are your kitchen and bathroom remodels a little overdue? Well, now's your chance to call First Response Contracting. John Sellers will take care of you. 484-256-7136. They do residential and commercial, and they're licensed and insured. Give them a call at 484-256-7136. All right, rock and roll.
From real estate to real life and everything in between, The Brad Weisman Show. And now, your host, Brad Weisman.
We are back. We are back. That's all I'm just going to say. I'm just going to say we're back. What do you think about that, Hugo? We're back. We're back. All right, so we're back, and we are traveling this time. We are traveling all the way to Florida, believe it or not. Tampa, Florida. I found this guy on, I think, Instagram, and he does an amazing job with videos, basically selling his area of Tampa, Florida. My wife and I have family down in Tampa, Florida. I thought it was very interesting. We had, the hurricanes that happened this past summer in Tampa and all kinds of parts of Florida and North Carolina and Georgia. And I thought it'd be great to talk to him, find out how the real estate's snapping back. Is the real estate coming back price-wise? Are they fixed up? Are they, do they have a lot of stuff they have to do yet because of the hurricanes? And he has firsthand experience of what went on down there in the real estate market during that time. So I thought I'd bring him on and we'll chat with him. Sam Coddle, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Brad. Thanks for having me.
I'm doing great too. And you're very welcome. But yeah, I saw so many videos of you over the last 24 hours. I was watching a lot of your stuff. You do a wonderful job. You do a really good job with that.
Thank you so much. I hear that a lot from clients. They're like, I binged your videos over the past weekend and then called you. Like, perfect. That's why they're
great.
there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you do a really authentic job of it. I think what I wrote down in my notes is that you have a casual friendly delivery. So it doesn't seem plasticky, it doesn't seem fake. You're really putting the information out there about the Tampa area. And also, I guess basically it's St. Pete, Clearwater, Wesley Chapel. You're covering a large area around Tampa. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. An outside perspective, like Tampa is big.
Yeah.
Like they don't know the difference between St. Petersburg and Tampa and Wesley Chapel and even down into like other suburbs and other counties. Like people don't see all that from the outside.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's really cool. And it's a beautiful area. It really is.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah. And you said you're originally from Oklahoma. Okay. I need to know, how do you get from Oklahoma to Florida? I know you can fly or drive, of course, but there had to be a reason. There had to be a reason.
Well, I always tell people Oklahoma is a great place to grow up. Yeah. But I don't ever want to live there again. So I left as soon as I could. Like right after high school, I lived in Kansas City for a little while, and then I lived in Colorado for about a decade. And
Colorado, then to Florida.
Yeah, I've been all over the place.
Talk about a weather swap. Oh my gosh.
My wife grew up in Florida, though, so we always kind of knew we'd have to come back here because she couldn't handle the cold.
Yeah, I get it. You can always go to Colorado and do what you need to do. You ski, whatever it is, and then come back to warmth and some kind of a better, comfortable life, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're in Florida now. So you're married. You said you're married.
Yeah, we've been married 10 years.
10 years. Congratulations. That's awesome. Thanks. Any children?
Yeah. Yep. 3.
3 kids. Wow.
7 months. Yep.
Wow. Okay. Congratulations. Yeah. That's amazing.
I don't know when we'll stop. We'll probably go for 4. We have we have 18 chickens right now too.
18 chickens. So wait, where you live in Florida? You have chickens.
I live on the north side of Tampa. Actually, I published a video not too long ago about where to find an acre near Tampa.
Wow.
So many locals called me saying I never knew I could live on an acre and be 30 minutes from Tampa.
I thought Disney World was the only one that had something over a quarter of an acre. I didn't know that you could actually have more land. That's
there's so much diversity on the north side of Tampa. As it gets a little more rural, it's like super interesting. We love it.
Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. Well, that's I wasn't expecting that. So let's go back to what, this year you guys had a rough time. This past summer, you had a rough time, and you had 2 hurricanes that came through. It was Helene and Milton. Now, I saw a video of yours, and if you can check out his video, it's pretty interesting, showing a house that you actually had damage from last year or 2 years ago.
Right.
You fixed it up, right? And then you got hit by, was it Milton that hit you then? Or was it Helene?
Helene, it wasn't a direct hit, but the way the storm rotates, they call it the dirty side. It just pushes all the flood water up to us.
Amazing. And I saw the video. You had 4 feet of water in your house.
Yeah.
That's a lot of water.
Oh, it's crazy. And outside on the privacy fence, it was like chest high. I'm 5'10". It was chest high out there. I could have treaded water in the yard.
So you obviously got out before it got to that point, or you weren't there.
Yeah. So long story short, last year before Hurricane Idalia, we had just moved into a new house, and we were selling our house. It was under contract to sell, flooded while it was under contract.
Oh, jeez.
5 days from closing, it flooded. Buyers backed out, fix it up, get it back on the market. It's slow to get traction. And then it floods again.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I think you need to sell that as soon as possible. There's something going on there
this time. That's for sure.
Yeah, I bet. You just want to get it done, right?
Absolutely. And I bought it in 2020 and it's 2.7% interest. So I have a lot of appreciation in it.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So where is that house located that you got that dirty side of the hurricane? I mean,
yeah, that's a house built in 1962 in Tarpon Springs, so like northwest side of the Tampa area.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And they got hit.
Yeah,
they got hit. Yeah, it's a shame. Well, hopefully you'll get that fixed up and sold.
50 yards from like tidal water, like a bayou. That's actual coastline. So.
Oh wow, yeah. So you saw that. Now, is that the what do they call it? The not the tidal wave. What do they call that when it comes in when the water just goes up? I forget.
Surge.
The surge. Is that what that was?
Yeah, just silently comes up.
Man,
it just comes under the doors. Yeah, both times when I go to like check on the house, I open the door and water comes out.
That's not supposed to happen.
The first time I did it, there were reporters with me from the Tampa Bay Times.
Yeah.
They're like, "Can we walk with you?" And we're like walking through this water. I'm like, "Sure." We open the door and they're like,
water
have this
comes
emotional
out.
Reaction of me like seeing the water come out of the house. I'm like, what in the world?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We just don't deal with that up here. Or we don't have, thank goodness we don't have those situations. And you guys don't have it all the time, but so let's go into this now.
Sure.
What has that done? Are they fixing stuff up? Are you guys getting back to normalcy after those storms?
It takes a long time. You know, a lot of houses were damaged. About 20,000 houses were damaged to that extent.
Wow. That's a lot.
Another 40,000 were damaged, but not to that extent.
Right.
So imagine 20,000 people that now can't live in their houses.
That's great. Where are they? Where's everybody?
They have to rent other houses. FEMA has temporary housing available, but it's like a motel, like on the other side of Tampa.
Yeah. Right. Wow. So people are really hurting yet. I know that's amazing. Yeah.
And I'm the furthest along. So on my street, most of the houses were flooded. And say there's 40 of them. I'm the only one that has drywall in already.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That's amazing. Well, and obviously, it goes to who too. Obviously how you can get on the list to get stuff done.
Right.
But so our houses.
Called all the same people from last year.
Exactly. You have a whole list.
I'm like, hey, bad news, but I'm excited to give you some more work.
Oh man. Now what about insurance? How does that work? Do they drop you? Is it double now or how does that work?
Well, the insurance is the National Flood Insurance Program. So it's backed by FEMA.
Oh, okay. Got it. So that means my insurance is going to go up then.
They can't technically drop you.
That means our taxes are going up. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
My insurance actually doubled before the last storm.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
So before it flooded the first time, my policy doubled. So that's a $400,000 house. Flood insurance on it is about $4,500 a year.
Oh man, $4,500 a year.
But the claim last year was 6 figures.
Oh my gosh.
Just barely 6 figures. This year, there was way more water.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be a lot more money.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's incredible. I had no idea. Had no idea at all. Hugo, you have a question?
Yeah. So do you know how when you crash a car, there's like a record that goes to the title of the car? Does that happen too with the houses?
Absolutely. Yeah. The flood claim history transfers like with the transaction.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's a lot.
So there's a flood claim history that goes with the transaction. Okay.
And now there's a new document called the flood disclosure document, specifically asking did it flood, because the loophole previously was a lot of people own their houses outright because they've been in them a long time.
Right.
They don't have to have flood insurance. So then the claim history, there's no claim history because they don't have insurance.
Got it. Makes sense.
So now they're making you actually disclose like what the height of the water was, what storm it was damaged in, those kind of things.
What the height of the water is. Okay. So like when we do a disclosure here about water in our basements, it's basically, during very heavy rains, there's a slight trickle. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys are talking height. You guys are talking height. You're like, was it 3 feet? Was it 4 feet? Oh my gosh. It's crazy.
It's pretty wild. And homeowners insurance in those scenarios is really high too.
Yeah. Now, do you find the insurance companies, do they do they make you whole on the property?
They do. Yeah.
Okay, good. That's good. Because, you hear horror stories sometimes around here if it's a fire or flooding or whatever it would be.
Oh, I know. And I see other real estate professionals like propagate these stories on social media.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's literally not how it works. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. You haven't been through this. Like, look at how mine went last year. Look at how it's going this year. Like,
okay,
I can show you actual numbers.
Okay, good. That's good to hear. So, so Tampa's you guys are rebuilding. Things are coming back now. But also, like, think about the market a little bit. 20,000 people without a house. That's crazy.
So we've sold a few listings recently, and most of the offers come from people who's flooded 2 miles away.
Are there people that go, screw it, I am not going back to that location. I'm moving inland because I don't want to deal with this again.
We sold one with, cash only, cut down to the studs.
Wow. Unbelievable. Yeah. So you do sell houses that basically they're not even done yet either. Somebody comes in and says, look, I'll give you $150,000 or $200,000 cash. I know it's going to cost me another $200,000 to fix it up, but I'll take that on. I want it. That's amazing. Amazing. Yeah. It's such a different world. It really is. Different world.
There's opportunity all over the place.
Oh, that's true. But it is opportunity. I mean, here's the thing. Yeah. Those 20,000 people need to go somewhere. I mean, they have to live somewhere. It's not like they're just going to disappear.
And they're not likely to just leave town.
Right. That's what I was going to say too.
Their families here, their jobs here. Like,
yeah.
You're just like move across the country.
No, you're planted there. You're there, and it's a great state. There's no state income tax. It's wonderful. Why wouldn't you want to do that? That's wonderful. All right, let's. I want to talk about this. What is this? I heard on one of your videos, the FEMA 50% rule. Never heard of this before because it's like I said, we don't deal with this stuff.
Yeah, so this came into effect in 2022 after Hurricane Ian, or right before Hurricane Ian, maybe.
Okay.
And I'm not an attorney, and I'm not an insurance broker.
That's all right. Just give us your take on it as a realtor.
The rule states that significant repairs or improvements cannot exceed 49% of the tax assessed value of the building.
And that's the tax assessed value, not the appraised value of the building. Okay.
So my number for that house is $110,000. That's how much I can spend on it before I hit that rule. Once you hit over 49%, that house would have to be torn down. So,
because they want it to be brought to code. They want all the code to be brought up.
Right.
Unbelievable. Now, who pays for that if it does get to that point?
I don't know. Like, I should have given you this question ahead of time. No, I like it. Would I then get my total amount from insurance of $250,000?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what happens?
And then I sell it as a lot? Like, I don't know.
That's an interesting one.
Interestingly, it's up to the cities to enforce this on FEMA's behalf.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, if you're looking to buy or sell a house in Berks County or beyond, let me know. This is Brad Weisman from The Brad Weisman Show. You probably know I'm also a realtor, but I wanted to remind you, if you have any questions or you need anything, please give me a call, 484-256-5836. Thanks. And somebody has to go look at it and go, okay, well, this is, and when you talk about assessed value, is that what's your house? Is that what it's taxed on? Like your property tax value?
The tax assessed value of the building.
And in Florida, I owned a couple condos down there at one point, and they were in Tampa. When you every year, don't they reassess your value every year, like with a computer estimate system or something like that?
They do, but if it's a homesteaded property, that can only go up 3% per year, so it goes up pretty slowly.
Mine was not homesteaded because I was outside.
So then it can go up to 10% per year.
Yeah, I experienced that very much so. It was not fun because I bought them in 2008, 9, and then by the time I went to sell, they were definitely a lot higher taxes. That's interesting. So going back, so the 50% rule, you've never had to test it yet or anything. You've never been involved in it yet.
I exceeded 50% on expenses last year.
Yeah.
And no one ever talked to me about the rule.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay.
Should we take this part out of the video?
No, I like it. Everybody's talking about it and everybody's freaking out about it.
Yeah, because
cities are having meetings and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, because my thing is, how do you police that? That's 20,000 homes that you have to have somebody check out if you're putting more than 49% of back in. Right. I don't know how you do that.
Well, and do you also just look at those people who've lived in those houses for 40 years and say, you have to tear your house down. Probably not.
No.
Cities don't do that kind of stuff to their citizens.
It's like eminent domain almost. I mean, it really is. Yeah, it's crazy. So here, let me ask you another thing. We'll get into the, we hear good and bad about FEMA. How is FEMA for you guys?
It's good and bad.
Good and bad. So it's like anything. It's like anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the last resort.
Oh, it's the last resort. Okay, got it.
It is.
Yeah. So
you don't want to go there, you don't want to go to them and ask for assistance.
Okay.
It's the last resort.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like if you got flooded and you're homeless, go ask for help.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, figure it out. Put stuff on credit cards. Call your credit card company and say, "Hey, I was hit by this disaster." They'll give you forbearance, like all those kind of things.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of help that's out there. FEMA's the last resort.
And creditors help a lot when it's a FEMA disaster.
Gotcha. Okay.
They have loopholes. Even mortgage companies have that. When you say, "Hey, I was hit by this hurricane," they have a procedure for that.
Interesting. Well, that's good to hear, because you never want to have somebody lose their house or get they're already having a bad time, so you don't need them to be stressed out about paying their mortgage and things like that if they're out of work.
Well, and going back to the car insurance question, it's like you're driving down the road, and a tidal wave hits you. It's not your fault.
No, it's not your fault at all.
Yeah.
Well, you could have picked a different road.
You could have, yeah.
It's not your fault. And I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, well, they live in Florida, so they should expect this."
You should see the comments on that video.
Oh, I can only imagine. They're like, "Oh, who's the stupid ass that lives there?" Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, but it's like, you know what? It's a beautiful state. I like I said, we love visiting. In fact, we'll be down there. We will be down there sometime before the end of the year. We'll be down in Florida again. So let's talk about.
Come chase some chickens around. You can come over to my house.
I love chickens. I got to say, there's nothing like fresh eggs. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's the best.
It is the best. And people they think you're crazy when you say stuff like that, but there's nothing like fresh eggs.
Oh, and the chickens love my 6-year-old. They just like run up to her.
Oh, yeah. I had a rooster attack me when I was a kid. That's a whole different story. I really did. That's a whole different story. Yeah. They're not friendly. They are not friendly. The roosters are not. The hens are good. So let's talk about this. Are snowbirds still a thing? Not an actual bird, but people that come down there for 3 months from like December to March. Is that still a big thing?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that kind of started as like a semi-retirement thing, right?
Right.
Go ahead and buy this place and you'll live there part of the year. And then eventually maybe you'll live there the whole year.
Right.
But as, fixed costs of living here have gone up and up and up, insurance and now condo associations are just far more expensive than they used to be.
Yes.
Because of all this extra they have to keep in reserves, all these kind of things.
That's happening everywhere, by the way. That thing the collapse that happened in Florida.
Yes.
There has affected the whole country. In fact, I am now the vice president of our HOA at the beach, where we have a condo at the beach, and they bring up the Florida thing that collapsed, that building that collapsed.
Yeah.
And they now make us all have a reserve study done. And we have to fund that reserve study based on the Maryland. I'm in Pennsylvania, but the condo's in Maryland. On the Maryland state law states that we have to have that funded. That has made our condo fees go through the roof.
Through the roof. Yeah. So condos are just more expensive all of a sudden. So we've had a lot of clients, retirees that moved here kind of as snowbirds partially and then moved here permanently, like leaving, going to Tennessee.
Because they're fixed costs. If they're retired, they have fixed income.
Fixed income.
Yeah, you can't have your HOA going up by $100, $200 a month every time you turn around.
Or your car insurance or your electric bill, like all those things.
Yeah.
Florida has just had higher than typical inflation in the past 5 years. And a lot of people on fixed income have had to leave.
Wow, that's amazing. So who do you see coming in? Who's coming in? Like if it's not the retirees, I mean, where are they coming from? Just other places, I guess.
Yeah. Interestingly, a big influx to the Tampa area is the Miami area.
Okay.
As the Miami area has gotten more expensive.
Gotcha.
Which I need to hire an agent that speaks Spanish because
you should.
It's just like so needed now in Florida.
Oh, absolutely. It's needed everywhere. And it's great. I mean, it's something that as Americans, we need to, by the way, my producer is Spanish speaking.
Hello, my name is Carlos. That's an Indian. No.
Hugo is actually from Guatemala, and
nice.
he's now a U.S. citizen, which is cool. And but he obviously speaks his first language is Spanish.
Sam, if you eat tacos twice a week, that will tremendously help you with your Spanish.
Okay.
See, he can make the Spanish jokes. I can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's allowed to. I can't make those jokes.
I love it.
Yeah, it's fun.
So yeah, definitely influx from the Miami area, but also other states like New York, like California.
Yeah.
Like those are all popular people to relocate to the Florida area.
How about Pennsylvania? I bet you Pennsylvania, you get a lot of people and also I've heard Canada too, right?
Yeah.
A lot of Canadians.
From Canada.
Yeah. Amazing. So
it's
how
harder to finance if you're from Canada.
Oh, okay.
But there's a few Canadian banks that make it a little easier.
Okay, interesting. That's interesting. Didn't know that. So here's the thing. Inventory. How's it going? Good or bad? Are you balanced now? Are you still a seller's market, still a buyer's market? Where is it?
It's pretty balanced.
Yeah.
Listing prices are down year over year.
So they went down.
Yes. Asking prices.
Okay.
So that's like optimistic. You know, people thought it was still going to go up at 15%. So they listed accordingly.
Yep.
Sold prices are up year over year. But
interesting. That's a good point. And we're going through that.
Bargaining happens easier.
Yeah.
We haven't had a deal over asking price in a long time. Actually, we have one under contract right now, but it was that condo. I mean, that townhouse that a bunch of people that flooded were trying to buy.
Oh, and that's so funny. Interesting. Yeah. So you did have
90 feet above sea level.
Oh my, that's it.
In Clearwater.
Oh my God.
90. Yeah.
So that's actually good then.
That's high.
That's high for there, right?
The highest points in the whole county.
How the heck did they get a 90-foot? Is this like a little mountain in Clearwater?
Yeah, it is kind of.
Around here, that would be called like an ant hill.
Yeah. In Colorado too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
90 feet. Yeah, because most of the stuff's at sea level or below, right?
Right.
I think Tampa is actually below sea level. Isn't it the Bay?
There's some parts of South Tampa that are, yeah.
I've heard that before. Amazing. So inventory is kind of balanced. Prices are kind of evening out a little bit. They're not going up like crazy.
You have to, with a listing, you have to price pretty competitively to get good traffic fast. Otherwise, stuff's going to sit on the market for a few months.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, you are I'm going to call you Mr. Tampa. Tell me, just give me let's just say like a 2-minute overview of Tampa and why I should buy there.
Well, mostly for the weather. That's why literally why most people come to the Tampa area. It's such a unique tropical town with very unique history. Tampa, St. Petersburg, even little towns like Tarpon Springs have rich history going back to the 19th century. Like industry was started by Ybor and by the Greeks, the spongers, and by the really unique dynamics of St. Petersburg in the late 1800s. Super unique history and super invested community. But there is so much more opportunity for Tampa because it has areas to grow.
Really? It does? To the north or?
To the north
and west?
To the east, and to the south.
Really? Interesting.
The west is all water.
Yeah.
And that county is also the most densely populated county in the state.
I meant east. When I say west, I always think of myself here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But no, I know what you meant, to the east. Yes.
But like Miami, Fort Lauderdale area, to their west, they back up to the Everglades. So they just literally can't grow anymore.
You can't do anything.
They have to grow up. So we have this like outer circle that's continuing to grow and creating opportunity, but not just opportunity for living, opportunity for jobs and businesses and all kinds of things.
Yeah, that's amazing. So there's so much more there. Yeah, there's a lot there. And I always just feel like the Gulf side is just different. It's just different than
it's chill.
Yeah.
Charming
different vibe.
Beach towns. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I found. And, I always say if I move to Florida, it's going to be Tampa area. I mean, Apollo Beach is nice. We've hung out there before. Bradenton, even going down, I guess, further south there is nice. New Tampa. Is it still called New Tampa that's up north there?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Is that Wesley Chapel area or no? That's not.
So that borders Wesley Chapel.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, when you go across County Line Road, you go into Wesley Chapel.
Interesting, because I used to have a place what they considered New Tampa. That was where the condos were that we owned.
Yeah, New Tampa is a place that was like annexed back into the city.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, in like the late 80s.
Okay.
No, late 90s, 1999.
Yeah.
And then Lennar built out all those neighborhoods.
Amazing. Yeah, it's a cool spot. Is there anything else you want to say about Tampa before we wrap things up here?
I got into real estate and thought, okay, how do I share my experience of I'm an outsider to this place?
Yeah.
And how do I make sense of it? because locals are defensive about it. Newcomers are in love with it. How do I find this like middle ground of just like sharing what it's like to live here, what it's like to move here from somewhere else? So I started just by telling, funny stories about my Greek father-in-law and anecdotal things. But then just being a student of the map and the history and all those kind of things and starting to piece it all together. I've loved just sharing about Tampa, but I'm not into selling people on Tampa. I'm into, if they want it, I'm here to help them.
Yeah. I love, it's a unique situation where you've almost become like a historian of it. You just have the information about it. And I think actually believe it or not, when I listen to your stuff, you are selling me on Tampa.
Sure.
By giving me that information. You're not doing it actively, but you're selling me on that location because I always liked it there anyway. But I like it even more when I hear some more of the history. And I didn't realize it was that old. The 1800s. Right. I had no idea.
And the locals light me up in the comments. If I were to call myself a Tampa historian, they would tell me what's what. But I'm just trying to provide value and tell the stories and
I love it.
All that kind of stuff.
And you know what? You're doing that and you're doing it very well because you're being noticed. And I love the videos you're doing. People should check you out at Instagram.com. Living in Tampa is what it is. That's your thing. Living in Tampa, right?
Yeah.
And also YouTube. Lots of good videos on there. At Living in Tampa is his YouTube page. Check that out. It's all good stuff. You're doing a great job, man. I appreciate it, Sam.
Thanks, Brad.
You're welcome. All right, there we go. If you are looking to move to Florida, you want to look this guy up, Sam Coddle. He actually is a realtor for EXP. I'm going to just call him Mr. Tampa from now on just because I think it makes sense. He's Instagram.com/living in Tampa, Florida. And then he's also YouTube.com at living in Tampa. And he's doing just a great job. So check him out when you're down there if you're buying any real estate or whatever you're doing. And maybe he'll even let you have some eggs from his chickens. Who knows? Let's see what happens. All right, that's about it. We'll see you next Thursday at 7 p.m. Hey guys, I want to take a second and thank Comfort Pro. Since 2001, Comfort Pro has been helping customers stay comfortable where they live, work, and play. They have 24/7 emergency service and a 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. If you need help with your heating and air conditioning or indoor air quality, call Comfort Pro at 484-917-1803. Mention the show and receive a free humidifier with the installation of a complete system.